What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy J Dub, the #1 comment on YouTube, and I'm back with another review. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Married at First Sight. We're in season 14. This is episode 5, and it's called "It's Not a Sure Thing." But before I get started, let me kind of explain my format with Married at First Sight. I don't do the scene by scene situation. I really break down each couple and we go from there, because really the episode is 2 hours long. So for me to go scene by scene, that would really be too much, and it's almost like me reading what happened. So I'm gonna share some tidbits about what went down, and I'm gonna give you my perspective. And again, as the #1 commenter, I need y'all down in those comments, and so we can go back and forth. Again, with this channel, the motto is "say what you say." So I really need to hear from y'all. And from what I deem my loyal subscribers, who I now deem the Dub family, y'all haven't let me down yet. I mean, each video y'all keep coming hard in these comments, and I'm really enjoying it, and we're having a good time. And I mean, I'm just watching y'all go back and forth with each other, so it's very entertaining. And with this show, to me now, it's more entertainment. Before, I watched Married at First Sight from, I guess, the very first season, and I've always hoped that, hey, they're matching these people to find love. But now it's purely entertainment. And I have to say, like, for real, even though there was so many disasters in this episode, this was like my favorite episode. There was so much going on. The only thing, if I could have one complaint, I would say I would like to see what's been happening behind the scenes. I mean, like, they have situations that happen off camera that we really need to see. But other than that, I'm fully satisfied with the show. So let's get into it. As far as couples go, I don't have a particular order. I just start where I feel. Today, we're going to start with Noi and Steve. So in this episode, you really see Noi earn her name as the hopeless romantic. I mean, she's falling fast for Steve. She's ready to go. She's, like I said, she's ready for Steve no matter what. He can't do no wrong. She don't even know the man, and already she feels so emotionally bonded to him. And I'm like, slow down, Noi. I mean, what, 3 days you knowing this man, and you falling in love, slowly fall in love. That's what her words, that's what she's using to kind of make it sound like she's not going so fast, and she's going way too fast. And Noi is doing her interview with the producers, and she had mentioned to the producers that, hey, I'm slowly falling in love with Steve, and the producers like kind of pushed her over there, prodded her to go say, repeat what you just said to me to Steve. And pretty much she told Steve about her falling in love with him slowly, and she didn't get the response that she was looking for. Steve really, he just said like, okay, you know, that's nice to hear that from you or whatever. But I like the way Steve explained to her. He could tell that what he said, she didn't take it well. She felt kind of like, I'm going to say, rejected. And he pretty much told her he has to stay true to himself, that in this short time, there's no way that I could really fall in love with you. But, you know, I don't want you to take it like I'm not into you. I'm not into the marriage. And I would say he let her down softly. Not that he's not into, he's being realistic. Because at 72 hours, Noi is not a hopeless romantic. She's like a sucker for love. So I don't know what she's doing. And that's going to be like problematic. So as far as them, the way Steve goes, he still wants his nomadic lifestyle, his vagabond lifestyle. He pretty much brings to Noi that the best thing about the trip would be them waking up on the beach like in a tent. And Noi lets him know, like, I'm not into camping. And he's like, well, why would you want to wake up on the beach or be into camping? Because she's pretty much saying, you know, I want to be inside with a bathroom and shower. And Steve is like talking to her like, you don't get it? Like, there's showers and bathrooms there on the campsite or whatever. So, and Noi's like, it's not the same. And really, this type of situation just shows the games that Married at First Sight are playing. Now, camping to me, I guess isn't a big deal, but I'm certain that Steve, he's the traveler, like he says. If that means living out your RAV4 with the dent on the side, is traveling. I'm sure he asked for a wife who's adventurous as well. I'm certain of it. I wasn't in the meeting. Just like people aren't in Steve's bank account at Bank of America that he has this imaginary savings. I'm certain that he asked for an adventurous wife. Noe is not that. And I mean, that's understandable. Camping could be fun for somebody who would enjoy that or doesn't mind adventure. But to me, it's more like Steve is kind of warming her up to that lifestyle. And they're doing it again. They're triggering the couples. Steve's into adventure. His wife is not. Noe's into stability. Steve doesn't care about it at all. Now, I mean, it goes so deep. Like, you got to understand, Noe's background, her family came from a refugee camp. They might have lived outside at some point or what have you. And to just like come from nothing and build a life. She doesn't want to go back to, 5 people living in a 1-bedroom apartment or anything like that has to do with poverty. So Married at First Sight knew exactly what they were doing. And it pretty much shows up in like every couple of they're trying to trigger the other person. And if that's what they planned out to do, they did a great job. They picked the perfect people. And it's just like a mess. And like Noe's head is just like so in the clouds. So like when as a group, they were playing 12 questions or whatever, and you got to tell if you've ever done it or you've not. And Noe's head is so in the cloud. When they ask if you've ever cheated, Steve put a finger down to say that he has. And Noe like looking at him side eye, and I didn't see it, but she said she did. She said she put a finger down. But the I guess the kicker part of it is that she believes Steve is such an angel that how could he cheat? Even though she's cheated. And it was funny when he said like, oh, you just want to be the only cheater in it. And they laughed it off or whatever. I think they're getting along, but I don't think they've dug deep enough to have that true connection. It's so early. And we talking about big time, we're meeting their representative. When people on the honeymoon, they've known each other for some time, I would guess. Even if it's a short marriage, they've known each other longer than 3 days. So it's going to be a mess. I can't wait to get to that part when we get into the finances and stability and when to have a family. That's going to be the true entertainment of Noe and Steve. They're no longer going to be the boring couple or the couples that's just getting along so famously. So let's go to the next one. We had Lindsey and Mark. Mark the Shark. I got to say his name like that all the time. And they're waking up in the morning in Puerto Rico, and the producer wants to know, hey, well, did y'all consummate the marriage? And, Lindsey's just giving out this drunk laugh, and she just can't control herself. And it's very telling, like something went down with her. She done seen Mark Shark. And we know what's going on. But when I look at Lindsey, like every time I see her, we can go back to past seasons, the infamous Virginia. She's like Virginia's auntie or something. And she always looks like she's recovering from hangover or she's currently drunk. And that's problematic. And it's going to show up, and it does show up. So as far as Mark and Lindsey, I don't see it for them. Some people say like, oh yeah, they get along fine. They're going to be, I see both of them kind of keeping each other at arm's length. But obviously they didn't consummate the marriage, so it's not at arm's length anymore. And Mark even brought up the fact that, hey, Lindsey wants to go do her favorite pastime, which is drinking. And so they want to go, she wants them to go to make pina coladas. And Mark says it, he puts it as politically correct, as nice as he can, that, hey, we could possibly have 1-2 drinks and, we're going to do it at a slow pace. And we're not going to rush things, because that's the theme of this show for Mark. We're not going to rush things. And Lindsey's like looking at him like she don't understand or it's crazy. Like he's pretty much saying you're over drinking. And she's like, what? I don't understand. He said, I don't want to get into more situations. But that day you got into it with Isaac and Katina, you had 3 bottles of wine. 3 bottles of wine. I don't even think Virginia drank that much. Not 3 glasses of wine. 3 bottles of wine. It's like she's drinking for 4 people. So it's a problem. And like she's in denial. And that's not uncommon. For anybody, have you ever talked to somebody about, let's say, something that they overindulge in or they have an addiction? You'll say, hey, I think you need to slow down on your drink. Like, what? I don't drink too much. Hey, you're gambling up all the money. You're like, no. I just do it for recreation. Hey, you're addicted to your phone. You're on IG 24/7. No. I'm just looking at my phone to pass time. It's all. Nobody admits to their addiction. Nobody's going to say that. It's very few. That's what I'm going to say. Most people don't. So it's hard to kind of bring it. So Mark did a pretty good job of bringing Lindsey's addiction because Mark the Sharp don't want no drama. He want a calm, peaceful marriage. He's like a firefighter now. He's always putting Lindsey's fires out all the time. It's just always something going on because she's the common denominator. Mark sees that. And that's huge, especially trying to get to know a person. That's not going to make you get closer to a person, I'll say. So Mark and Lindsey, they go down to the beach. That's the theme, to have a romantic dinner. And like the dinner goes left because like Lindsey could tell his energy is off. He looks stressed. He looks like he has some anxiety going on, Even though it's hard to tell with Mark with his eyes, you always think he has some anxiety. And he's trying to explain to Lindsey what's going on with him, and he's just saying like he feels the pressure of that they're being rushed and they're moving way too fast, and they just got to slow down. And his favorite phrase, it's a lot. It's a lot. Everything is a lot. Lindsey is a lot, but that's Mark's go-to phrase. And Lindsey's kind of looking at him sideways because really putting on the line, she's like, oh, you want to take things slow, but we didn't consummated the marriage and you want to back up. I can back all the way up. Just let them know, well, if you want to go that way, we shutting it all the way down. So it ain't going to be no more consummating the marriage. And she wanted him to stop doing all of his bodily functions and using the bathroom in front of her and giving her a full frontal. She's like, she doesn't understand. Now, Mark was, to me, he shows that characteristic the same way he patched it up with Elijah Warren with her in the fight. Mark kind of plays that politically correct, like on the fence. He doesn't give or tell all the information. He did the same thing with Lindsey. He should have said like, hey, all these altercations you getting into, I don't get down like that. I don't move like that. I'm not comfortable with that. I won't accept that in my life. Now, if that's what you choose to do, hey, I can't stop you, but it makes me uncomfortable and I don't want to be around it. So instead, he's like, well, we just need to slow this thing. We need to slow this thing down. And Lindsey was pissed because he was BSing her. He wasn't giving it to her straight. And they just get into a big fight after that. And so at this point, Lindsey feels kind of used or stupid or not understanding why Mark is doing so much backpedaling. Is that now, yeah, he's really seeing like the person Lindsey is, and he doesn't like it very much. Yeah, he was okay to, hide the shark and all that kind of stuff, but I guess that's why a lot of people or some people on Married at First Sight, they do kind of want to take it slow because they want to kind of try to feel a person out before they sexually connect with a person, because these types of things will happen. And Mark is in trouble, and it ain't no news. I guess Mark the Shark didn't really understand what he was getting into. Lindsey's father told her, as I said from last episode, he keeps referencing her like she's a wild animal. Mark, are you a lion tamer? Mark, have you ever wrestled an alligator? You ever grab it by the tail? Do you know what's going to happen after that? He knew, but he didn't know. So let's go to another couple. Let's go to Jasmina and Michael, everyone's favorite couple, who I really didn't see it for because I'm going to say they both had their struggles. But to me, throughout the process, from what I see, from what's going on, Jasmina is really carrying the marriage. And I can imagine that gets tiresome. I mean, as the little things, I went back and I pointed out the fact that the way Michael, how he isn't as considerate or aware of things, just the small things. That's important. He's still trying to get Jasmina to drink the type of coffee he likes. Like, why not just simply ask her? It's okay. You don't know nothing about this lady. So it's okay to ask questions. Hey, how do you like your coffee? Instead of saying, hey, I'm going to give you the coffee that I like, so you should automatically drink it. And that'd be good. It doesn't work like that. But that's a lack of, that little small detail is a lack of emotional intelligence. It doesn't come off like he's a very considerate person. And, that you could tell that is something off with them. Like, Jasmina's face reads it. It reads that something is not right. And Michael wants to speak about it. And Jasmina just really lets him know that she couldn't get out her head about, I don't want to use that get out her head because that's actually Michael's term. But she's been thinking about what his sister's been saying, how he's like really a pessimist. And it's written all over her face. You can see it. But Michael pretty much brought up like, hey, I've been in my head. You can see he's in his head. Is about 4 feet long. He's in his head. He's got a lot of anxiety and pressure, and I don't know what he got. Child support, back taxes. He got a lot on that head. So Mike is so up, like he's bothered. He can't sleep because he's so worried about not being, again, that theme he says, being vulnerable, being open in the relationship, in the marriage, that he's doing all he can. And him worrying about that so much is not allowing him to be present in it. And I mean, it's absolutely a problem. You recognize that you're not being present in the moment, being talkative or trying to get to know Jasmina. You're just stressing the whole time. Like, again, we got this couple here where Jasmina is so afraid of being with another man who is emotionally unavailable. That's exactly what her new husband is, because Michael has experienced so much trauma through, I guess, the loss of people. He can't really count that anyone is going to be there. He's lost his mother at a young age. No, his father at a young age. His mother as like a teenager going into college. His brother was murdered, and he said that he was he says passes away. I don't like that term, when passed away, when somebody is like murdered. It's different when somebody, they pass away from cancer or a heart attack. When somebody's gunned down in the street, that's two different things. So, but okay, it's very traumatic. We can see he's suffering hard, so he really doesn't trust anything. So if he doesn't have high expectations for something, he can't be disappointed later, or that disappointed. So that's gonna make him not connect with anyone. And Jasmina is afraid of that already before even coming into this. But I really liked how she handled it. She dug a little deeper into it and asked him like why. And he explained about like all his trauma and all of that. But you can see that she really wasn't getting with that, because she's like, hey, yeah, that's a lot. And it makes sense that it affected you. Or some people take it and say, I got to live each moment like it's my last. But Mike is so bogged down with trauma, he can't get past that. And again, I don't understand even how not even him wanting to be in the process, because he think he's operating in normalcy. He's not. He's so wrapped up in his trauma. That's all he is in his life, trusting himself, not expecting much from anyone, and expecting the negative. It's just like he's covered in darkness. It's like his life is no hope. But he says he's a happy person. I can't tell. And I mean, he got so many, let's call it deficiencies going on against him to even make a healthy marriage. He really hasn't seen how a man and a woman operates in a relationship. He's raised by his sisters. And that's missing something. As a man, you're missing something to be raised by your sisters. So I'm not even going to mince words about it. I'm going to say what I say. And it's problematic. And not only that, to have a negative attitude on top of that, it's something. So I did like that conversation that they were trying to dig deeper, find the root of the problem, see what they can do. But Jasmina can't help him if he's always doubting himself or worried or concerned, or that's something he's been living his whole life. She's not a psychiatrist or psychologist or whatever to break him out of that. And that also bothers me too. I wouldn't say anyone is perfect, but throughout these processes, this season, last season, whatever, somebody always has to be, their chain has to be pulled or pushed out there and all of that. Nobody got time for that. The process is hard enough as it is. You're marrying a stranger, so you got to make constant adjustments within yourself and with dealing with somebody else emotionally. So if you got so much baggage where you can't even deal with someone normally, it's not going to work. And we get to a confessional with Jasmina, and you can see like she's just so upset again. Now they have a situation where Michael has accused Jasmina because when they were on the boat ride, that she cut him off when the group asked them about have they consummated their marriage, and rightfully so. Lifetime played the clip back, and it showed Michael making a statement, and when he stopped, she spoke. So I didn't see the interruption into that. Now we go so deep when we could, because this is a brand new world. When somebody say, "Oh, I heard Michael's such a slow talker," so once he stops speaking, you have to wait to make sure another word is not coming out of his mouth. That is so ridiculous that you have to even go there with somebody. And Michael is pretty much accusing Jasmina of cutting him off, and he feels disrespected by it. And he's demanding apology. And Jasmina has said, like, this man is getting aggressive. This man is getting loud with me. She feels disrespected. She doesn't even want to continue in the marriage. She don't even want to stay in a room with the man. It's so ridiculous. Now, at this point, Michael, to me, with his insecurities, he's nitpicking Jasmina so bad that he's just getting ready to destroy the marriage all on his own. He's let's say he's self-sabotaging. And this is what, for people who didn't understand what Jasmina's mother meant, like, I don't even know you. I'm concerned about like her safety. I just turn her over to, because now let's call a thing. He's emotionally abusing her already off the top. If the lady said he's getting loud and getting aggressive with her off of something that didn't even happen. No, people say, people argue. At this point, you're on your honeymoon. Even if you're having an argument, this should be the softest argument you should have. You're supposed to be so committed and going into this thing with an open heart and mind and all that. The man is already yelling at her, disrespecting her, little He-Man swelling up on her. And she have every right not to feel like she need to take care of that. Take that type of disrespect. I don't blame her for wanting to go or wanting to deal with that. I got to deal with that because of your trauma and your baggage? That's not cool. That's not cool at all. But as far as them getting together about this situation, Michael's still like upset about it while they having dinner, and he's pretty much saying that he asked for an apology, and she pretty much said that she apologized, but she said, I'm sorry you feel that way. Now, I'm with Michael. That's not an apology. It's a new generation of apology with people who don't take accountability, because you can feel any kind of way that you want, but you're just telling me you're sorry I'm feeling a way. You're not sorry for what you did. Now, Jasmina didn't do anything, but if you're going to apologize, apologize. She should have stood on that and just said, I'm not apologizing at all. But she said, I'm not going to apologize the way you want me to. So Michael's just like, he's just waving the white flag. He's going to say, well, I'll accept if you apologize, I'll accept it however you give it. But that's not really resolving things. They're like at a stalemate. That term that I hate, we're going to agree to disagree. Because to me, that leaves it where it's at. We didn't make any forward movement. We didn't come to a resolution or none of that. And that's where they at. And Michael got some issues. I'm going to just say it like that. We know Jasmina has some issues because we haven't really touched on that. She has not had a real relationship. She's dated somebody out of the state all the time. It's different with being with someone day to day, or throughout a certain type of period, other than like sharing the weekend. And she doesn't know what that is, and that's problematic in itself. However, I just can't get with what Michael's doing. I already knew he was going to mess it up if they had a chance, because I really didn't see Jasmina really liking Michael like that. And I understood. But again, Married at First Sight is setting the couples up. I don't know what Jasmina's part is in it, but we know, again, Michael is that unavailable, emotional man that he's unavailable. He's emotionally unavailable to Jasmina, and that's what she did not want. So, but she got a husband like that. It's not an accident. They do it for the drama. They don't want to see him win. They want to see him get them ratings up. And I mean, it just gets like annoying. Like the man is nitpicking, and he asking her like what at the table, what are you thinking right now? Or so you're not bothered anymore by what just happened. And I think Jasmina handled it well, because I was just him asking those questions annoyed me. But she was like, no, I'm moving past it. But yeah, I'm bothered by it, that it happened. And I just didn't. I wish she just wouldn't apologize, because she didn't. She should not have apologized. But I did like that Jasmina stood up for herself and said, like, I do expect you, when she was asked, to treat me with respect. Because, again, we got some more back. Michael, then he get to spilling his beans. Well, my sisters, because that's just people who raise my sisters and my friends and people I've been recently in relationship with have told me I got an anger issue. Like, and I'm going to, hold up, then let's go here. And when we get back to Boston, I'll make sure that doesn't happen again. Forget Boston. What about Puerto Rico? I don't want to even deal with that ever again if we can help it. Nobody's perfect, but nobody should have to clean up your baggage, your emotional baggage, you dumping on them about your past trauma, and y'all can't even get to the root or the area where y'all can connect in a relationship, because y'all dealing with past traumas that haven't been solved, and it's not getting solved because everybody's in therapy, but nobody's getting healed. So let's move on to Alyssa and Chris. Now, Chris, he really believes that Alyssa thinks that he's being disrespectful because he's holding her accountable. And he's right. He called her a gaslighter. And she is. And the thing is, I'm like, if he can see all of this, why does he continue to put himself through all of this? Because he should know by now, like, this lady just doesn't see it for him at all. And, Alyssa's just so upset. When she wakes up in the morning, she feels like, I don't know why this happened to me, and, who did this? Like, this lady's a victim. Everybody on the show, but her as well, signed up to be blindly matched and married to a stranger. You don't know what the person's personality is, what they look like, but she act like somebody snatched her off the street and put her and made her marry this man who she can't stand. And I mean, it's the seasons of the Karens, Lindsey and Alyssa. And it gets to be exhausting. But I did, let me grab that real quick on just why is Alyssa on this show? Why? I don't understand. Like, there should be, I know you're supposed to let people act naturally and get their feelings out or what have you, but you can see that she doesn't want to be here. She don't see it for this man. And I don't get it. But you know what? She showed up, like, for the activity that Chris planned. He wanted to do like some paddleboard situation, and it wasn't a positive thing. I thought that Alyssa, that she was trying to have a better attitude about the situation. And, she actually was engaging in activity. No, she wasn't like close up on the man, but she was talking with him, trying to have fun. And Chris didn't make the situation any better. While they on the paddleboard, he falling off, just looking clumsy and just like he don't know what he doing. So she's saying it's like, this isn't the man for me. He can't paddleboard. Like, whatever he does is never going to be good enough. So when he can't do something, she's getting off on it. She's understanding that, but it is what it is with them, because it's nothing he can do that will make her like him. So as far as when they done with paddleboard and they trying to make small talk and an awkward silence, Chris is doing what Chris do. He got that doormatish thing. He's going to take all the brunt of the relationship. He's going to take the abuse. He only needs 1% from her to stay in the marriage. And this man actually apologizes to Alyssa and saying that, hey, I don't think I did a good effort in just letting you know really how cool you are. And she's like, oh yeah, thanks. I mean, that's the same thing how she's feeling. He's yesing her to death and he thinks he's winning her over, but he's not. She sees him as a very weak man who she's not attracted to. He's not winning her over. He will never win her over. I just want him to get that through his head. It's at this point, it's continuing to be painful to watch. And she pretty much, at this point, while she's talking, she just doesn't care. She pretty much says she's talking to a psychic and she's telling him, the psychic told her the man of her dreams or her soulmate is going to have a certain look, and he's going to have a tattoo of an eagle and all that. And Chris is looking whoa, you really saying this to me? Yeah, any chance she get, she's going to down him or dump on him. And this is not entertainment. This is Chris belittling himself, allowing this woman to say and do whatever she wants and reject him over and over and over again at his expense. I don't want to see that. I want to see something different. And even as far as Chris went to do some type of snorkeling thing, and Alyssa's saying hey, this is the first time I've seen this man with no shirt on, and I know that I can say comfortably that this is not the type of man that I want. Just looking at, she don't like his body, she don't like the dad bod. It's not what she want, and she has a right to say it. Like she said, I think I can say that, without being the villain, because she's all about the look. Because she even gets to crying to one of the producers that she's so pissed with her mom because her mom is saying you at least can try to be nice to Chris and be by him, and she just somebody's making her do this. My mom says I'm gonna look bad on TV, and I mean, she sounds like a toddler, like a child, like someone's forcing her to do something, and it's all about an image for her. That's all she cares about, is not looking bad. She don't care about Chris' feelings. She don't care about the commitment she made to do this. None of that. She's a victim. She's totally a victim. Someone wronged her. Somebody did this to her. Somebody set her up. They did set her up. Because again, when I go to the situations where they know that Alyssa is looking for a certain type of man, so they go out and get the exact opposite of what she's looking for. I guess she was looking for a fit man. She's looking for a man with a man that don't have all the top of his row teeth looking like canine teeth. She don't like that. But Married at First Sight sought that. Not that Chris is a bad person, but they knew that she would hate this. And they knew that she would reject this. And this is what they wanted. They wanted to see Chris get humiliated and go through it. Sometimes it's not two-sided, but they here for the drama. So let's go ahead and wrap up the last couple. Katina and Olajuwon, a.k.a. Isaac. We'll go back and forth with that name. So we see them waking up in the morning, and we're still working on Olajuwon's how to cuddle class. It gets old already. We know Olajuwon is a one hitter and quitter. He out of there. He ain't doing no cuddling, no hugging, no nothing. So he needs a class to know how to play big spoon and little spoon. and it's really not working out. He's struggling. He's suffering. I don't know. But it gets to a point where Katina's pretty much saying, yeah, I want it, but it's not really working out because Olajuwon is a person who sweats profusely. And I'm sure that doesn't smell good in the night because I never see any of them like go to the bath or put on some night clothes. I don't see it. So I couldn't imagine them being out all day and he's sweating all over her. So that can't be romantic. And we see them go to the gym. And Katina's pretty much saying she wants to be in Olajuwon's element and she wants the same from her so they can kind of like match lifestyles, which was a good thought, but really it was a mistake because Olajuwon was like, he was pushing Katina really hard. It wasn't like an activity they was doing together. He turned into her personal trainer. And I mean, he was going way overboard. That ADHD kicked in. And he's telling her, look, if you drop the weight, I'm taking the ring off. The marriage is over. And I'm like, I mean, for real, like, what if she takes that to heart? What if y'all just supposed to be working out together? I don't get what's going on. But he just goes like so overboard with it. And he's just not ready for a long-term relationship. Again, with this couple, we got a guy with mommy issue who's idolizing this woman, who's making all these promises of the world, and Katina, who's used to dealing with guys, I guess, like promising her the world, but always falling short. So we get this dynamic that we see is going to be a disaster. And, you know, put in that Olajuwon's got ADHD and he has these unrealistic expectations of his wife. The wife has to cook and then go to the strip club every night or whatever. It's just so ridiculous. But they try to make it a love story because they're both like emotional people. And later we find out that workout, it really wasn't a true workout. It was actually Isaac testing Katina to see if she would speak up for herself because she was pushing him too hard. And I thought that was like the most ridiculous, childish thing I ever heard in my life. Like, you're testing your new wife. You don't know what that could have done to her emotionally, because Katina even said, if I was in my 20s, that would have probably made me cry the way he treated me. But he's testing her. Like, she got to jump these hoops and hurdles to make sure that she's worthy for him. And I'm like, I don't know what other signs we need to show that, like, he's not ready. And he's in that mindset of a child. The man has mommy issues, so he's looking for his woman to be every single thing in the world to him. And that's going to be problematic. And again, remember what they said at the wedding reception. He's going to try to mold her. And that's a part of it, that control thing that he's doing. He's molding her into the woman that he wants her to be. Oh, you're going to make sure you stand up to me even though I'm treating you unfairly. And I just thought that was ridiculous. And you know, with each episode, because we got Lindsey always spilling over to Katina and Olajuwon, while they were like out on the boat with the girls just hanging, I did like how Lindsey Katina got Lindsey together about that situation with Olajuwon, because she was kind of like playing victim throughout of it. And that's so problematic. Like I said, it's the season of the Karens. Now we learn, I didn't have to hear this information. I already knew the scenario, but people were kind of interjecting because they haven't shown us the footage. But Lindsey had 3 bottles of wine. Mark the Shark knows that she instigated the situation. Of course, Katina and Olajuwon know that. But Katina was more like, you know, you can't instigate a situation and then say you're triggered by it. Like, that's so ridiculous. You know, she's triggered by Olajuwon, this aggressive man that wants to fight her, even though she said she wanted to fight Olajuwon. That's why Katina got into the situation. What I didn't like with Katina, with the group, is the thing, more of a respect thing. You was kind of getting in her business and all that, but you was Katina was straightening Lindsey out, but she started doing the hands and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's aggressive. That's a problem. You know, talk to the lady, tell her about herself, but it's like you poking her now. I just didn't really like that. Like you could see that Katina has a temper on her, or she lives in drama. Like, because Olajuwon has the whole time been suggesting like, hey, let this go. Don't engage, because it's just going to be a problem. And I just like to see her do another way, because she's not taking her husband's advice at all. And I would say, as far as Olajuwon, now he got something else going on. So while everybody's like on the boat, they playing that dumb "Never Have I Ever" game, it's starting to run out of questions or what have you. And Olajuwon's like, he's into it. Isaac got to get into the game, and he's like, come on, let's ask her something. And he asked everybody, hey, have you ever had sex with somebody, and you had somebody sex in their family? And everybody everybody didn't like the direction they was going. They're like, what are you saying? Or what's going on? Like, in your family, or what's going on? And he's like, no, I had a mother and a daughter, and was proud of it. Like, it was a beautiful experience, and it's not disgusting. It was great. And everybody's like in shock, because they can't believe that he's saying it and admitting this to everybody. And Katina was even shocked, but she kind of played it off. And it just shows the type of character. Are we talking about Olajuwon or Isaac, or both of them? That he believed that that's okay to deal with a mother and a daughter. And who knows how old he was, because he's young now. So whenever that happened, I mean, it just sounded like just a messy, nasty situation, and that he's proud of. And that's the thing. That's what his mindset. Man, why would he do that in front of everybody with his wife there? I mean, I just don't see that. But what I learned, that when they got to talking by themselves, Olajuwon wanted Katina to know, did that bother you? And she said, no, I don't believe that. But again, I think that's the part of the molding process. He wants to push her boundaries so far. He wants to see what hurts her or bothers her. And that's a dangerous game he's playing. And that's not, what he says he's to be. He's protecting her. He's looking for her. He's being there for her. Putting your wife through different tests and pushing her emotional boundaries, that's not a good look. The man is just I don't know. I don't see him not even ready for a relationship, forget a marriage. And but he kind of turns it all around in Katina's eyes. So when they get back to the room, Married at First Sight, set the room up all romantic, and now he's redoing his vows, and just saying, you're just you're just the best thing that ever happened to me. You're an angel, and God sent you here and put us together and all that. Even Katina laughed in his face, because it was like corny. The man is corny, but after a while, that little promises and all that is touching her heart. She with it. She's like, this guy's just the nicest guy, and this is so much more than I could ever ask for. It's everything she could ask for. And I'm like, at this point, they deserve each other. All that pledging and promises with 72 hours in, we know that's like going right in with sex and putting that first in a long-term relationship. It's going to fizzle out. Olajuwon is just talking, and even Katina thinks she's fallen in love with him. And I mean, that's what he wants. And it's not going to be a good thing. It's not going to be a good ending. That ain't going to last long at all. So, she's touched by his emotion. He's touched by her emotion, and they just two fools in love, or they're about to be in love. I don't see it. And Isaac, his character is just a huge question. They even brought up a situation where they're talking about a threesome, and Olajuwon like, yeah, why wouldn't I, take a woman if you let me have another woman and all that? But he's trying to reassure her, I have 2 rings on. No, excuse me, I have 1 ring on. I don't have 2. I married 1 woman. Like, he does a lot of talking, but I don't believe he believes what he's saying or backing up. I believe he wants to have that type of relationship. I just don't believe he has the tools to facilitate it. So again, at the end of the day, this episode was great to me. You take the fact out that they're setting these people up for failure. It's entertaining. The only part I really don't enjoy is with Chris and Alyssa. It's just totally mean spirited, and she's like breaking this man down, and he's allowing him. So I just can't wait for they get back to finishing the honeymoon and get back to Boston, because I want to see these marriages break down, and I'm gonna be here for the drama. So I say, I appreciate y'all stay rocking with me, all the support, my Dub fams out there. I can't do this without you. Y'all could be anywhere in this YouTube world, but you're here with me. I really appreciate it, and I really mean it.